Hey y'all, welcome back to Decide Your Best Life mini series podcast. I cannot believe we are on the final week of this. I would love to know from you. If possible, please send me a message, any message. I promise you, I will not spam you. I will not do anything. Just send me a message on IG. You can text me the word podcast to 501-222-3362. Let me know what you think of this mini series podcast. So we had planned to only do this for the month of June, but based upon the feedback that we get, obviously I'm recording this in the beginning of June and you're listening to this in the last week of June. I'd love to know, what are your thoughts on this? Do you want more of these? We were thinking about doing them maybe every quarter. Who knows? If you love them, I'm more than willing to do them even more. So please, just let me know your thoughts. I don't know if I have mentioned this on the podcast or not so far, but I have mentioned it over in my text message community, which I hope you're in by now. And if you're not, again, just send me the word podcast to 501-222-3362. I send you inspirational quotes and links to the podcast, but I mentioned it in the text message community that for anyone who shares any episode this month, whether it be with a friend and you screenshot it or you've shared it over on social media, you are going to be entered to win some really cool Decide It's Your Turn swag. So let me know what you think of this mini podcast. Do you love it? Are you loving it? What are your thoughts? Should I do it more often? I'm just so grateful for you listening today, and I hope you do really send me a message, because I know everyone says it, but I really try to be a person who responds to every single solitary message. It is me from the bottom of my soul. I do this, and I know that there's not hundreds of millions of people listening to this. So if you are one of them, you matter to me. And I'm doing this for you because I truly do, from the bottom of my heart, want this to help you. And I'm hoping these mini bursts of inspiration drop to your phone every Monday through Friday in the month of June have really helped you. And today's episode is affirmations for self-doubt and in hard times, because no matter who you are, no matter how much personal development, self-development, business development you have done, we all go through hard times. Life is not always easy, and there is bad days. I am a human being doing human things, and even though I truly do believe I have one of the greatest lives ever because I decide it every day, I still have really hard times. Even in the past few days, I've had a couple really hard days. I recorded a full-length podcast, I don't know if it's come out yet by the time this comes out, but it'll come out in the next little while. And I bawled on that full-length podcast. So the Decide It's Your Turn podcast, the full length that comes out on Thursdays, I was really crying because I was having such a hard day. I had a really scary moment with, if you followed my full-length podcast, my neighbor Joyce. She's like 88 years old and she's one of my favorite people on the planet. And I thought that there was an emergency at her house because there was fire trucks and ambulances and all the things. And I was just an emotional wreck that whole entire day. I needed a nap and wine and numerous walks, but she's fine. The other neighbor who had an incident is fine. But, we all have hard days. I have bad moments in my business. I have bad moments in my personal life. There's just so many things going on. I've recorded a really, really cool podcast with a client of mine on really heavy subject. And it is a good subject that we need to talk about, because I don't care if my clients are with me for personal and or business. I always think that it's always going to be a both together. It's hard to talk about just life or just business without letting them come together. And something that we talked about was the family stuff. And I will be 100% honest with you. I don't think that there's one client that I've ever had over my, 7-something years of doing this, that we haven't talked about family. We haven't talked about family stories, family patterns. We haven't talked about how wounded we all are from our childhood. And that doesn't mean that, you had bad parents, doesn't mean that I had bad parents. I love my parents, but there's a lot of shit that has happened in our childhoods that affect us to today. And I think we need to start talking about that, because if you act like everything's fine, well, then you're just keeping yourself stuck. And I promise you, no matter how good it was, there's little things that happen, the little comments that have kind of changed everything in your life. And unless you reprogram those, they're going to keep you stuck. And hard days happen and moments of self-doubt happen. And like I said, I am not immune to it. But today I want to give you a few affirmations for when times are tough, when you're feeling, all of that doubt, when you're feeling like that heaviness of life and business and world and kids and family and relationships and all of the things. Because again, you don't have to pretend. I hope you don't pretend. I definitely don't pretend that everything is perfect. I definitely don't pretend that there isn't hard days, because fuck is there ever. And you are not escaping it, no matter who you are, no matter how good it looks. And I mean, you all know this. We've all had these moments where certain things happen with people that look like everything is great on the outside, and you come to find out that everything isn't so great. So I really try to not pretend, pardon me. I really try not to pretend that everything is perfect all the time, because I have bad days. I have days that I doubt myself. I have days that I feel like it's so overwhelming. I have days that I feel like I'm failing. I am a human being. I mean, I feel like each one of us have these moments, and pretending like you don't, please don't pretend like you don't. You don't have to talk about it all the time. Like, I think that toxic positivity is fucking disgusting. And I think that, pretending like woe is me, everything is bad is no good. And I think woe is like everything is perfect is bad. The truth is in the middle somewhere. But I think it's powerful to be a bit vulnerable. I think it's powerful to say, like, hey, I don't have all my shit together all the time. So for those moments, here are some affirmations for self-doubt and tough times. And feel free to record this, turn on a record and screen record it, or feel free to write these in a notes app. I do that all the time. I have notes all over my house, sticky notes everywhere, a designer's worst nightmare. But I live on a sticky note. I've created my life on a sticky note. I've made millions of dollars on a sticky note. Like, it's crazy town what you can do with the reprogramming. It's obviously what I talk about and what I love and what I preach and what I could literally do until, the day I die, which I probably will, because I don't plan on quitting anytime soon. But affirmations. Okay. So the first thing I would say is, when you're having a hard time or self-doubt, this is a good one. I tell myself, there are other people that have gone through this exact same situation. And I know when you're in it, sometimes you feel like no one understands, no one gets it, but that's not the truth. That is not the truth. There has been someone on the planet who has gone through this exact same situation that has been thriving, that are thriving, that have made it through. So whenever I'm going through a hard time, I just tell myself, I know that there has been other people on the planet that have gone through the exact same thing and that are now thriving. And that gives me proof, that gives me hope, that tells me that, like, I 100% know that there is a way to get through this self-doubt. There's a way to get through this hard time, because another human being on the planet has done it. The second thing is, an affirmation is, God is using this to test me and I trust him. God is asking me to trust him. Like, I always say that before any big thing in life, for sure, any big thing in life, there's always going to be this moment that God throws out this like boulder and says, really? You say you want this, but do you trust me? Are you willing to jump without a parachute? There has been so many times in my life where I have had to go, fuck this shit. I am jumping and I'm going to figure it out before I land on the ground and kill myself, because I know that God is asking me to trust him. You say you want this so bad, I'm going to put this like little, boulder in front of you. Are you going to figure out how to get through it? Are you not going to let it stop you? How many times have there been people that say they want something and then just like, maybe it's a big thing, but how often do these little things come in to stop you from doing the thing that you say you want to do? Like, I want to do this thing. I've used the example 100 times before, but like, I remember when I was doing my very first event back in like 2018, 2019, I promise you, I think it was 2018. I can't remember. Holy crap. Time goes so fast. Oh, it's the worst. Time goes so fast. But anyway, I remember when there was just so many roadblocks coming my way, and it was like, are you going to quit? Or are you going to trust me? Are you going to quit? Or are you going to trust me? And those things happen all the time, even in this business. My God, the social media has completely changed over the last probably couple of years, for sure, especially in this last year. Views are down. The way that it's going is down. People are having to pay to play. Like, I mean, it's just a whole different thing. But am I going to go, oh, well, the internet is over and people aren't finding me on social media anymore, and there's just so much bullshit on the internet. No one trusts a coach nowadays. They all think it's just woo-woo bullshit. And unless you're talking about making millions of dollars and having a perfect day, no one's going to pay you anyway. I mean, these are conversations that I have had with myself. These are conversations that I've had with certain clients. Like, I mean, there are moments when it feels like it is not working. However, Am I going to believe that God has put this on my heart to do, to help people, to serve people, to allow people to live a life that they're obsessed with, to do the thing that they want to do on this planet, to overcome the roadblocks that they have to overcome in order to have the success, in order to have the life, in order to have the business, in order to have the relationships that they want to have? Am I going to let these little bumps stop me? Or am I going to trust that God 100% has put this on my soul, so he will help me find a way? And I believe that to my core. I will always find a way to yes. That's another affirmation that you can write down that I'm sure I've already mentioned on this mini series podcast before, but there is always a way to yes. And I trust that this is a test and I will figure out the answer. I will figure out how to keep moving forward. I do believe that. And I know for a fact, if God put this in me, 100% I can figure out how to live it. So the next thing is, when you're having these self-doubts, when you're having a bad day, ask yourself, what is one next action? What is the next thing? What is the one thing that I can do? Not 10 things, not 2 years in advance, not 1 week in advance, but what is the thing that I can do today? Ask yourself, what is the next action? What can I do? Everyone wants to tell you what they can't do. Like, I can't do this. I can't do this. I can't do this. Okay, what can you do? What action can you take? What can you do today? I promise you, people forget that 365 one thing actions compounded over a year will get you so fucking far. You do that for 10 years, you don't even recognize who you are. But so many people are thinking so far in advance and it prevents them from doing the thing. So ask yourself, what can you do and what next action can you take? Those are some big affirmations. Also, too, when self-doubt and like worry and overwhelm and hard times come up, it's like, I am worthy, I am enough, and my worth cannot be determined by, the thing that it is that you're looking for, whether it's, the money, the job, the relationship, the weight, the whatever. It literally, that your worthiness does not depend on those things. I am worthy, period. Okay, cool. What action can I take? You know what I mean? Like, I am enough, period. You are enough, period. But also, you can get better. You want to get better. Becoming that best version of yourself matters. And I honestly, truly do believe that, like, throughout all of this, one thing that I would say is, like, what is true? How can you reframe it for your good? What action can you take? And what support do you have? Focus on what actions you can actually take. Focus on what you can control. Oftentimes, when you're having this self-doubt and like this hard times or whatever it is that's coming up, you're worried about so much shit that you cannot control. But at the end of the day, it's like, what can you control? What can you control? What action can you take? You can't, I don't even know what an analogy is for it, but it's like that whole thing about you can't, like, what is it, like, kill the thing? I don't even fucking know. I'm so bad at analogies. Oh my God, I'm so bad. Nathan would just be rolling his eyes if he were home, but he's not. Thank God. But it's like, you can't kill the whole thing at once or something. You can't eat I don't even know. Oh my God, I'm such an idiot. I don't even know what it's called. Like, you can't eat the thing all at once, right? You eat the thing like with one bite at a time. Oh my God, I kind of want to delete this podcast, but I'm not going to, because it's just like, you get it, like what I'm talking about. Like, you can't accomplish the whole thing right now. Eat the bite of it. Oh my God, maybe on the next episode, I'm gonna look up that analogy about like not being able to eat the whole thing at one time or something. It's one bite at a time. Oh wait, what is it? An elephant? You can't eat an elephant all at once, but you can eat it one bite at a time or something. How stupid is that fucking thing? Maybe that's not even the thing. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. One action at a time, I promise you. Take one action at a time, and that is how you're going to accomplish the thing. And so just be thinking about that too. And like really reframing that, if you believe that you're not worthy, you're not smart enough. I talked about this on an earlier episode. Those things 100% are like the biggest killer of anything in this world when it comes to like accomplishing and success and joy and all the things, just believing that you're not worthy of it. So you are worthy of it, but how you can overcome the self-doubt is, and honestly, like just as like a simple little hack, go move your body. I promise you, there's not one human being who's ever gone for a walk who comes back feeling worse. There's not one human being who's ever jumped on the Stairmaster or the elliptical or the bike or gone to a workout class and feels worse than when they actually went. Like it's really not possible. So move your body. You know, I used to believe, and I think that maybe it's just my age. God, I wish I could pour wisdom into all the 20-year-olds. I know I have a few like young people that listen to me. I have a few younger clients. Like I have a client who's like 20, another one who's like 22. It's just so remarkable to me that these people get it way before I got it. But you know, there's so much power in learning that you can reprogram your thoughts. You can take over your life. You can change your life. You can decide it's your turn. You can decide for your best life. And I love when you learn it early. I love for all of those people to understand that you have the power to decide it's your turn. That's the reason why I do this podcast, this mini best life podcast. That's why I do the full length podcast, for help you decide it's your turn. And you are going to have ups and downs in your life. You're going to have bad days, but I promise you it's so worth it if you can just really change that mindset and have someone support you along the way. I'm so grateful that this is what I get to do for my clients. And some days with my clients, you know, most people think that it's going to be these life-changing calls or you have to like change the world in one call. And sometimes like the most powerful calls are the calls that I have with my clients where we're just really supporting them and changing those negative thoughts to a positive thought and moving their body and taking care of themselves and, you know, just really enjoying their life. And I'm so grateful that I get to do that for my clients. So this was a longer episode. I hope a few of these affirmations have helped. Just know that you're not the only one who's having a bad day. Find someone to support you to get you through those bad days, because if you can get through those bad days quicker, we're going to have a lot more good days. So I will see you on tomorrow's episode.